His name was Harlan. He always wore Birkenstock sandals over thick wool socks, even in the winter. He always carried two things around with him, his laptop and a pillow to sit against because of his back that still bothered him from the time he fell off his roof. He told me once that on the first Sunday that he came back to church after that accident, he walked down the center aisle of the sanctuary carrying a very long chain of all the get well cards and letters that people had sent him, all taped together and trailing behind him like a streamer. Whenever Harlan sat down, no matter where he was, Harlan would open his laptop and begin typing. During church sermons, book discussions, even during the lights out time at a spiritual retreat, when you could see his face glowing blue from the light of his screen. Once I saw Harlan sitting alone at a table in a small coffee shop called Katie's Cup. On the table in front of him was an index card fashioned into a tent on which he had written in large black letters, "Community Listening Circle." No one came to join him, but there he stayed, typing away at his keyboard. The whoosh and whir of the coffee machines in the background, the workers calling out orders to be picked up at the counter. Another time, Harlan launched a one-man crusade to get a woman named Linda released from jail, where she had been sent as punishment for refusing to take her medication. Harlan made up flyers and spoke about Linda's plight at events around the city, and he even wrote a scathing opinion piece in the local newspaper, which the judge lambasted him for just before he released Linda from jail. Harlan had a way of stirring up controversy that made some people mad and irritated, but Harlan would not be deterred. He would be smiling, his head dipped to one side, and his laptop under his arm, and the person who was mad at him would walk away shaking their head and wondering how anyone could be so tenacious. It was one Sunday morning when we learned, at the end of the church service, that Harlan had left us. The pastor said, while we were all standing together in a prayer circle, that he had something to tell us, that Harlan's wife had called earlier that morning to say that Harlan had died as he was getting ready to go to church. There were gasps and cries, and one young man who said later that Harlan had literally saved his life fell back as if struck and began sobbing. Harlan once told me that he lived according to a quote from Horace Mann, which appears just above the west entrance door of Rockford East High School, his alma mater. The quote was, "Be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity." By the time he died, Harlan had won many victories for humanity. And about those other victories that remain today and tomorrow to be won, Harlan Johnson left those for us to win.
Oh,